Welcome to Escape to the Country. Now this pretty hedgerow, flushed as it is with autumn colour, may look like any other you could see across the British countryside, but this one is thought to be almost 1,000 years old. But how do we know, and where is it? Well, join me in just a moment and I'll tell you. Today's search is all about old versus new, with house hunters torn between traditional and contemporary.
But this is very me, very me.
Who's going to get the final say?
We'll see. We'll see.
Our task is to deliver the best of both worlds that'll bowl them both over. And it looks like we're halfway there.
I've never had underfloor heating, that would be nice. Is it warm?
Yeah, it's lovely.
Richard's in, look, he's done it. Well, today we are in Dorset on the 550-acre Kincoln Meadows Nature Reserve. And as you might expect, this area is covered with literally miles of hedgerows. Now, in recent years, not only have they analysed many historic maps, they've also employed a rather clever rural rule of thumb to determine that some of these hedgerows could date back to 1050. Now, later on in the programme, I'll be back here finding out not just how they've managed to date them, but also how important hedgerows are to our landscape as a whole. And I hope getting something of a masterclass in what we can all do to help maintain these features through the winter. Dorset is in a prime position on England's south coast. Uninterrupted by cities and motorways, the county is agreeably remote, and just over 40% of it falls within designated areas of outstanding natural beauty. Much of Dorset's charm is found in its picturesque villages, over 150 of them. One with a remarkable tale of old is Milton Abbas, which started life in a different location. The entire village was moved to its present spot in the late 18th century so as not to spoil the view from the Earl of Dorchester's newly built mansion. Nearly 100 miles of heritage coastline skirt the county's southern edge, where crumbling cliffs reveal a unique cross-section of geology and prehistoric treasures. Charmouth Beach is a particular favourite for fossil hunters hoping to discover a Jurassic gem. In the southeast, the 60-square-mile Isle of Purbeck is bordered by water on 3 sides. It's home to the Victorian seaside resort of Swanage and the towering ruins of Corfe Castle, some 10 centuries old. With history surrounding you everywhere, there's no doubt that Dorset presents a compelling and varied portrait of country life, at times millions of years in the making. Well, there is, I'm afraid, no two ways about it. Property hunting here in Dorset doesn't come cheap. Currently, the average price of a detached house here is some £400,000. That's £70,000 above the national figure. And as for East Dorset, well, there you could happily expect to pay even more. And that's because of 2 sizzling hotspots, Poole and most notoriously Sandbanks, where properties regularly go for millions of pounds. So if you want a bit more for your money, well, the advice is simple. Head towards the west of the county. So what is it about Dorset, one of my favourite parts of Britain, that's attracted today's buyers to want to move here? Well, let's meet them and find out. One half of our house hunting duo is retired Dr. Drew. He met partner Richard, who works for an airline, 2.5 years ago. After hitting it off online, they decided to meet up.
I came down to Bournemouth to visit you.
You did, and I picked you up from the train station.
You did.
You stood a wee little rucksack in the shorts, looked really cute.
It was a very hot day, I remember. It was very hot and sunny, the weather was just fantastic. And we clicked straight away because we've got things in common.
A great day at the beach, and then, well, ever since then we've been pretty inseparable.
For the last 16 years, Londoner Drew has been living in this 5-bedroom 1930s semi in Finchley. And when Richard's not travelling for work, he divides his time between a flat he owns in Bournemouth and visiting Drew. But city life really isn't for him.
I love the outdoors. I love the outdoor life. Although it's great being in London and there's a lot to do, but I find when you live here, you don't actually do those things. So we're looking forward to just setting up a new life, nice home, outdoor life.
Definitely.
They've chosen to buy in Dorset, a county with a mix of coast and countryside, with good road links to friends as well as Drew's son Fraser in London. It's a move they hope will help them to achieve not just a slower pace of life, but also a more active lifestyle.
Well, I've lived in London for quite a long time now, and it's very busy and frenetic, but so the move to Dorset will be to a much calmer environment, fresh air, good quality of life, lots of opportunities for our shared hobbies. It's the complete opposite, in fact, to London.
Yeah, we're looking forward to doing country walks, kayaking, getting some mountain bikes, going out, having a much more outdoor, active life than we can actually have here.
Although they've been looking for 6 months already, this couple are yet to find a property to please them both.
It's been interesting looking at house hunting together because we do have different styles.
I prefer a more modern style of house.
And I'm a much more traditional type person. I like something a bit quirky. He loves straight lines, neatness, tidiness. We do kind of feed off each other. So if Drew's unsure about something, I reassure him, and it's vice versa. So, you know, we do balance each other out that way.
One thing they are agreed on is that they'd like more outside space in their next home.
We would like a big garden. I'd also like a large greenhouse because I grow a lot of cactuses and succulents, so I'd like to be able to grow a lot more of those.
I'd like to get into gardening. I don't know anything about gardening, but I really want to give it a go. I really want to try it.
Drew's house is sold and due to complete in a couple of months, and they're in need of our help to make their countryside dream a reality.
It's going to feel lovely being in a new house.
To be able to open the windows and not listen to sirens, car alarms, this is just going to be bliss.
Whilst they're undecided on property style, location-wise they concur. They need good road and rail links to London, but are otherwise happy to look anywhere in the county. Let's hope they're also on the same page when it comes to the finer details of the move. Right, chaps, let's pause here because I think this really does rather set the scene, doesn't it? Now, the question as to how much you know about Dorset really fascinates me because, peculiarly, Richard, you have a flat here, don't you, in Bournemouth?
That's right, yeah. I've got a flat in Bournemouth in the city centre, but obviously I travel a lot for my work, so when I get home I like to stay in my flat and I don't really get out much because I can walk to the town, I can walk to the train station, so I haven't really explored Dorset at all.
Now, in terms of the property that you are after, give us an idea of the spec that we need.
OK. We're looking for something like 3 bedrooms plus a study or possibly 4 bedrooms.
A big kitchen.
Big kitchen.
Be great.
We would like a garden. We have very little garden at the moment.
Room for a gym would be great.
Yes.
A pool would be nice.
A pool would be nice. Now, before we get carried away, I gather that you have actually been through the door of some 26 properties here in Dorset?
Correct.
Something like that.
So what have they not had that you're hoping we are going to find?
Well, quite a few were not on estates, but on roads with many other houses. We'd like some privacy, I think. Other things they'd be missing.
You don't want to be so isolated,
No.
though. You still want to be close to some form of life, village life.
Yeah, community.
Yeah.
How much are you proposing to spend on this new adventure together?
Well, something between £750,000 and £800,000. And I think £800,000 is realistically the top of our budget.
I am very pleased with what we have to show you this week, and we've got some beautiful weather to go with it. So now's your chance, boys, to come and explore rural Dorset and see what you, Richard, have been missing all these years. Come on.
Fantastic.
With a substantial budget of £800,000, Drew and Richard are looking for a detached property with 3 bedrooms and a study, as well as a large sociable kitchen and a garden. They'd also like a garage or space where they can create a home gym. We found 3 exciting properties to tempt them with, and at each one I'll be asking them to guess the all-important price tag before I reveal it at the end of the tour. Our final property will be our mystery house, offering up some unique spaces and a different angle on life in the countryside. How important is being attached to a community for you both out here?
Well, I think, I've always been in a community my whole life, really, and I think one of my worries about the move would be the feeling of isolation. So having a village nearby or being in a village, I think I would have to have something like that. The shock culturally to me would be too great to suddenly go from a 10 million population city to, you know, a few hundred. I think that would be quite a shock.
Our search kicks off in the North Dorset village of Tarrant Monkton. Nestled in the Dorset Downs, the village is made up of mostly thatched and cob-walled character cottages, a number of which are listed. It's home to one of the 3 remaining medieval pack-horse bridges in the county, as well as an award-winning 17th century pub. If Drew and Richard fancy a slice of quintessential village life, that's exactly what they'll get with our first property.
There you go. What do you think of that one?
Gosh, isn't it
That
stunning?
is stunning. That is
Stunning.
amazing.
This picture postcard
Isn't
It's
it?
beautiful.
house in a beautiful village.
It's not surprisingly Grade 2 listed because it's 17th century.
Ah, okay,
Wow.
okay.
In terms of the rural dream, Richard, I mean, is this the sort of thing?
Yeah, it's absolutely stunning. Can't wait to see inside.
How many properties like this have you looked around?
We've seen one a little bit like this, but not as nice as this. No, we haven't seen anything of this standard.
So out of the 26 that you've looked at, you haven't yet seen anything this sort of age, this sort of
No.
period. Come on, let's see what you think.
Originally 2 separate cottages, this now single detached property is currently used as a holiday let. Offering over 1,600 square feet of accommodation, it includes a side extension added in the 1980s which houses the current kitchen, where we're starting our tour. It's the one area that may need some work, but I'm told the current owners are in the process of gaining planning permission for a further extension.
What do you reckon?
It's nice. I mean, just having something that you can fix up just means you put your own mark on it. Certainly not afraid of that, but it's still a decent size.
Yeah, it's got units,
still
it's got a
usable.
unit.
Oh yeah. The rest of it is just gorgeous, and it just, you know, opens up as you go through. See, this to me is where this property really starts to sell itself.
Oh, that's lovely.
Wow,
That
look
is
at that
really
fireplace.
Look at these beams. I mean, the history is
And look at
evident.
the hook in the centre.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, imagine it. You know, back in the day, this would have been the kitchen, so all manner of things would have been hanging off the ceiling.
That's great. That's
Beautiful
where you'll be
dining,
hanging
yeah.
from if you misbehave.
Probably, probably.
I know Drew prefers a contemporary style, but I must say both our buyers seem to be falling for this cottage's character and charm.
So this, I think, really is your sort of period chill-out space, really.
Oh, that's
Oh
nice.
my God, look at this. It's just stunning. Stunning.
It is.
So interesting and quirky, isn't it?
You see, this is absolutely not.
This is not.
where you've been for the last 20 odd years, is it?
No. I go for symmetry, clean lines. This is everything I don't normally look at, but it is absolutely amazing.
It's real character, isn't it?
I mean, you've got an additional, I'm going to say in brackets, 4th bedroom down there at the moment, but I would say study. So we're brokering this very much as a 3-bedroom.
Yeah.
So far, so good.
Good. Well, look, let's continue upstairs.
The staircase leads from the living room to the 3 bedrooms on the first floor, which include a twin room with feature fireplace, a cosy but characterful double, and the master, all served by a family bathroom with separate shower and bath.
So no surprise then, this, being the biggest, would be for you two.
Oh, wow, gosh. This is
Lovely.
nice. This is a big room, big room.
I mean, as a holiday let, they've set it up as a sort of family room. That's why there are currently 3 beds in here and the cot and so on. But a bit of storage over there, which is quite helpful.
Beautiful, beautiful room. Lots of space.
Given that you have looked at 26 properties, I think it's quite revealing that only one of those bore any similarity to this one.
That's right.
Which is why I'm delighted we've had a chance to start with what to me is a classic bit of Dorset architecture. And I'm even more delighted that you like it, which is the key thing.
This, on paper, is not something I would rush to look at. But you've shown us and you've challenged us and brought something that we wouldn't normally look at. And I think it's fantastic. It
It's
works.
so quirky.
Well, let's see what you make of the price. We'll talk about that in the garden. Follow me.
Outside, the garden extends to around 1/3 of an acre and surrounds 3 sides of the property. There are a couple of seating areas to enjoy the wonderful rural views, and there's even an outdoor privy, which is also listed and is now used as a tool shed.
Right then, chaps. This is one that really should, I hope, kind of sell itself, really. Ponies grazing in the field next door, the pub within walking distance.
Yeah, it's absolutely stunning.
And for us, I think garden-wise, it's about the right size. I think.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to put Drew on the spot. What do you think this is on the market for?
I think it's probably on for something like 750,000.
Yep.
I think 725.
725. This is on the market for 650,000.
Really?
No,
Really?
Wow.
Oh.
Wow.
Wow, we're way out.
But in a good way.
In a very
Yes.
good way.
Yes.
I'm surprised. No, that's very encouraging. I have
That
to say.
is.
Right then, go and have another look around,
Okay,
see
thank
what
you.
you get for that sort of money, and I
Cheers.
will come and find you a little bit later.
Thanks.
Because this really is a property to enjoy, to soak up its history and its character, and to find this in a village such as this one with all the amenities that it has to offer. Well, it's just a joy. It's an absolute joy. I love house hunting in Dorset.
This Grade 2 listed thatched cottage has the 3-bedroom study space and good-sized garden Drew and Richard asked for in the heart of a beautiful village location. And coming in £150,000 under budget, there would be plenty left in the pot for them to put their own stamp on it.
The initial reaction of walking down the lane there with the horses in the meadow, and then you see the house, is just stunning.
I was just blown away. I know it's a bit higgledy-piggledy and low ceilings, but I think it's got the right chemistry for me, and I just loved it.
The price, what a fantastic surprise. Something, this location, this setting, near to the pub, beautiful garden. Who would have thought? Just fantastic.
I'm very happy with where we started, and given that we have talked about this local pub that is within walking distance, perfect place for lunch, do you think?
Great, let's go.
Come on, let's go.
One of the things Drew and Richard are looking forward to when they make their move down to Dorset is embracing the great outdoors and taking up mountain biking as a hobby. Boasting more than 4,700 footpaths and bridleways across the county that take in its countryside, coast and countless landmarks, Dorset is the perfect place for them to get started. We've arranged for them to meet Charlie Hobbs at 9 Barrow Down on the Isle of Purbeck. 6 years ago, he traded in life as a marketing executive to run a bike shop and hasn't looked back since.
So what makes Dorset such a great place for mountain biking?
We've got a great network of trails, and so you can pick your way around the countryside, over the hills, past the castles, along the beaches, but it's also a brilliant way of getting from one pub to another.
Okay.
There's places riddled with fantastic pubs, big views out over the sea. It's brilliant.
So what would be the longest and the shortest trail in Dorset?
Oh, the shortest and one of the most popular. It's a trail called the Priest's Way, and it comes up out Swanage and goes up to a pub on top of a hill overlooking the sea, and people will ride up on the Sunday morning and zigzag and roll back in the afternoon. So that's the shortest. But the longest has got to be the Dorset Gravel Dash 100, which is 100 miles in one go, in one day, all off-road. And we get about 100 people turning up for that, and it's tough. It's really tough. And that's not something to start with, but it's something to aim for.
Okay, and talking about starting with, I mean, I'm a novice. I can ride a bike. How would you advise me in terms of getting started?
Speak to your local bike shop. Down here we've got the Dorset Rough Riders. They've been going for over a quarter of a century now. And they have group rides almost every day of the week. And it's brilliant because you move into a neighbourhood and you'll be dropped straight into a little social group. You'll make friends, you'll get to see where the great trails are and find out where everything is.
Sounds perfect.
It does, sounds great.
It is. It really is.
Before Drew and Richard invest in new bikes, Charlie's offered to take them out for a test ride around the Purbeck Hills to get a taste for Dorset's cycling scene. But on today's trip, there will be one significant difference.
These are some big tyres.
Yep, mountain bikes, but not as you know it. These are called fat bikes. The most distinguishing feature is the great big fat tyre. And the reason for that is it soaks up all the bumps, allows you to ride over anything.
Originating in America, the first forms of fat bike were designed to cope with extreme surface conditions like snow or sand.
With the helmet, you want to make sure it's nice and snug. They're adjustable around the back here. And then you do it up under here, and you should have room, just enough room for a couple of fingers. So it's snug, but not too tight.
With a minimum thickness of 3.8 inches, the tyre's larger contact patch with the ground prevents them sinking into sand or mud and also helps to negotiate tree roots or tall grass. So they're an ideal way to tackle the varied terrain of the Dorset countryside.
So how are you finding it?
Well, it's not as easy as it looks.
And if mountain biking was meant to be easy, they wouldn't put the word mountain in it.
Although not best appreciated on a day like today, The route Charlie's chosen regularly enjoys views down to Poole Harbour and even out to Brownsea Island. With a wide range of trails on offer, from landscape rides for intermediate or novice riders like Drew to red or black trails for the more experienced, there are endless cycling opportunities to keep our buyers busy, whilst exploring what they hope will be their new home county.
Over this boundary, then it's downhill all the way to the pub.
Perfect.
I thought you might say that.
That's what we're waiting for.
Last one to the pub gets the beers in.
Next, we're heading to the south of the county to the village of Sutton Points, just 7 minutes by car to the beach. Tucked away beneath the chalk downs, the village is overlooked by the famous Osmington White Horse and is a popular spot for visiting walkers and cyclists. The pretty village duck pond is surrounded by character properties, including the local pub, which brings the community together through a busy calendar of events. And it's just a short stroll from here to our next property, a fact which should be a real draw for our buyers.
Here we are. This is number 2.
Wow, this is quite imposing, especially with this backdrop.
The
behind
backdrop's
it.
amazing, isn't it? You've
This
got
is
this
stunning.
downland rolling away into the far distance. So we've, I suppose, fast-forwarded from property 1 in the 17th century to the 21st century and this one, which is only 2 years old.
Oh, really?
I was going to say, it looks pretty
Yeah, gosh. Nice clean lines, which I like.
You like the symmetry, don't you?
And what about for you, Richard? Does this appeal?
Yeah, it's really impressive, and I love the attention to detail. You've got the brickwork along the bottom, then the cleanness of the walls there, and even the lighting looks really smart.
Will we go for something that's more familiar, or will we retreat back to the period
Maybe,
property of this morning? Who knows? But yeah, let's have a look. Come on.
This house is the complete opposite to our first offering, boasting a modern interior that I'm confident will appeal to Drew and some stylish features that I hope will keep Richard happy too.
Right, so nice little sort of lobby hallway there. And then this is the, I guess, your principal sort of cosy living room, as it were.
This is very nice. Look at the fireplace. It's absolutely massive.
Fabulous.
Room, lovely feel, very symmetrical and very smooth walls, which
It's
is
just
very
crisp,
me.
isn't it?
It is
You know,
very
the
much so.
newness is all around us. Is this your sort of thing?
I would go more for character, but they have put it in. It's a new build, but they've built in an Inglenook fireplace.
Yeah.
You know, it's great.
You can sit at the sofa and look what you see through the window from your lounge.
Well, wait till you see what you can see from the kitchen. You're going to like this.
Oh, really?
There we are, guys. How about this?
Wow, this is a
Oh, wow.
huge kitchen and very stylish kitchen.
Yeah,
Very
very
nice.
slick, isn't it? Utility room through there, and then, as you might expect, everything else beautifully kind of integrated, you know, fridges, freezers, and so on.
And an island.
I knew that the finish in here would be something that would excite you.
No, this is very me, very me.
Who's going to get the final say?
We'll see. We'll see.
Yes.
What we want is something that's very us, don't we?
Yes.
do. Let's have a look upstairs.
Back in the front hall, there's a smart downstairs cloakroom and a staircase which leads to 4 bedrooms up on the first floor. A bright master bedroom enjoys views of the surrounding fields and an ensuite shower room. Another large double lies to the front of the house. The smallest of the bedrooms is being used as a study, and there's a super stylish family bathroom with a freestanding bath. But we're exploring another option for what could be their master bedroom.
Now, I've opted to show you this one in more detail up here, because although it doesn't have the ensuite shower room, which next door does, to me, the view from here recommends this more as a master.
Yeah, to waken up in the morning, open the curtains or the blinds and see this from your bed.
Yeah.
And the glass panel, which means that you see the full view.
Yeah, it is quite spectacular. The rooms and the sizes work very well.
Yeah.
Plus the vista.
Yeah, I know. Well, come on, let's go and take another look at that and talk about the price while we're down there.
Richard and Drew could also set up their home gym in the garage to the side of the house, which benefits from power and lighting. Meanwhile, outside it's mainly lawned and is surrounded by far-reaching views.
Garden-wise, I mean, it is only 2 years old, this property, so, you know, clearly not a lot really has happened here, you know, to embellish it in a way that you could do.
Well, the garden's just a blank canvas.
Yeah.
It's yours to do with what you want, you know, which is fantastic. So we can just really go to town on that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree.
So, how much is it worth then, gentlemen?
I would say 775.
775.
Yes.
Grabbing those figures out of the air.
Oh, well, you've gone close to where I was going to go. I was going to go £780,000. I think it's getting towards where our limit is.
Here we are then. This could be yours for £715,000.
715. Wow.
That's
Now
good.
that I'm surprised. And 4 bedrooms.
Yes.
And great outdoor space. Cocktails in the evening.
Yep.
Living the dream,
Yeah.
boys.
Yep.
Off you go. The house is yours. Go and explore.
Thank you.
To your heart's content.
Coming in substantially under budget, this brand new detached property has 4 bedrooms, a stylish open-plan kitchen diner, and a garage for a home gym. And it's all on a wonderful plot surrounded by stunning South Dorsetshire countryside.
These doors are nice. Look at those.
They're lovely. There we go. Good floor. Perfect for the gym. Property 2 very different from property 1. In terms of specs, it's got the rooms that I'm looking for. The flow is very nice. Less compromises here than, say, house number 1 in terms of what we're looking for from a house.
The style is lovely, yeah. I'm not a massive fan of modern living, but this works very well. I mean, there's no work to be done here. You move in, it's already there. Straight off, fantastic. It's really good.
Well, that's it for our first day of house hunting. Happy so far?
Very happy so far. We've seen 2 very different properties, both stylish in very different ways and both very nice. I like them both, actually.
Yeah, it's been really interesting.
So lots to talk
Really
about over a
interesting.
pint.
Yep.
Right.
We're in Dorset, helping Londoner Drew and Richard from Bournemouth buy their first home together. With a generous budget of £800,000, they're ditching city life in search of a countryside retreat and a more active lifestyle. Coming up next, our mystery house might be just what the doctor ordered.
This is who you are, isn't it? In a
Yeah, it is very much who I am. It's very clean lines. Like a surgery, it's almost like an operating theatre, isn't it?
And later, I try my hand at an age-old technique to preserve Britain's ancient hedgerows.
Gosh, that is
Excellent.
fragile, but still there. Well, it's always nice to head into your final day of house hunting with at least one good option on the table. And if we were able to show both Richard and Drew nothing else, I'm pretty happy that with the 2 properties we've seen so far, there is plenty to choose from. So what can we possibly come up with for our final offering, our mystery house? Well, it's perfectly obvious so far that they both have a real love of contemporary design. This is a property that, frankly, we don't get to see very often on Escape to the Country, but I'm hoping it might be just what they're looking for.
Our mystery house takes us to the village of Upton, just 3 miles from the popular coastal town of Poole. Closer still are the beaches, heathland and marshland of the Litchett Bay Nature Reserve, a key site for wildlife which has been designated as a site of special scientific interest. Back in Upton, our property takes pride of place in a secluded position near the end of an attractive private road.
There we go. That's the mystery house.
Wow. This is what I was not expecting. This is ultra modern.
Yes, indeed. We know that you love your contemporary design. And as it's the mystery house, we thought, well, why not? You know, let's indulge that a little more. It's only 5 years old and it's empty.
Ah.
What do you think, Richard?
It's certainly different from the last 2. I love the angles. It's very different, very smart.
It's very striking.
So that's the front door, but we're going to use the back door today.
OK.
I knew the exterior of our unique mystery house would satisfy Drew's taste for clean lines, but I'm glad it also appeals to Richard. I can't wait to show them inside.
Tell me what you think of this then.
Wow.
Oh, this is, yeah. This is, I mean, I haven't really got words to describe it. It's just beautifully
Very
clinical, as you
stylish.
said. It's
It's lovely.
This is who you are, isn't it? In a
Yeah,
way?
it is very much who I am. It's very clean lines, very minimalistic as well. Like a surgery, it's almost like an operating theatre, isn't it?
Says the doctor. Come and have a look through here. This is a lovely sort of atrium hallway. That's the front door that we didn't use.
Oh, OK. Huge hall, isn't it?
It's just stunning, isn't it?
And then this is the main living room, which then opens up that way to the dining end, as it were.
It's gorgeous, isn't it? You can imagine your TV on the wall there. Nice sofa.
Sofa.
Relaxing.
If you haven't already noticed it, there are no radiators on the walls, which means you've got underfloor heating throughout.
Lovely.
I've never had underfloor heating. That would be nice. Is it warm?
Yeah, it's lovely.
Richard's in, look, he's done it, he's done it. Well done. Well, try before you buy, mate, that's what I like to say. Come on, let's have a look upstairs. Follow me this way.
Viewing a property in its bare state does require a certain level of imagination, but these two are having no problem appreciating its potential, and I'm glad Richard's already making himself at home. From the reception hall, a beautiful oak staircase leads to the first floor.
See, this is a nice touch, having the glazing instead of banisters up here, which again gives it that sense of space. Now, we've got 4 bedrooms, OK, all slightly different. 2 of them are ensuite. That's a double that isn't ensuite. That's the smallest of the lot, little sort of box room in here, which might be more of a study, I suppose. This one here, again, another double, that is ensuite.
Great size. Own shower. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
But master bedroom is down here, next to the family bathroom with beautiful light well, as you can see. And then this would be for you two. Come in, Richard.
This is the other bit of the big window.
Yes, exactly.
Which is a stunning master bedroom.
Oh, have a look in there. That's quite nice, your ensuite.
Wow.
Pretty good, isn't it? Yeah?
It's so space age.
I think we might have put the cat among the pigeons with our mystery house.
Look at the radiator. Look at the radiator.
Happy?
Am I happy? Yes, very happy. I think it's just breathtakingly beautiful, isn't it? Have you ever seen a bedroom as nice as this?
It's incredible.
Right then, start thinking about the price, because that's going to be the next hurdle.
Yes.
Heading outside, there's a double garage which would work well for Richard and Drew's home gym, and a good-sized lawned back garden with a number of mature trees and plants.
I think there'd be enough garden space here to occupy your gardening ambitions.
Oh, definitely. And it's already quite mature, so it's not too much work to do.
No.
I agree.
So, let's talk about the price then of our final offering.
It has to be at the top end. I think it's going to have to be around £790,000, I would guess.
Yeah.
I think it's more like 795.
OK, I mean, your instincts are right in that Poole is notoriously one of the most expensive bits of Dorset. However, you could take it away today for a guide price of £730,000.
Really? Well, again, were you surprised at every property? We always think it's more expensive than it is, but that's very good. £730,000 is amazing for this.
It's very good.
Isn't it?
Yeah, that's the spec, the location, the style, the individuality of the place.
Yeah.
Well, look, go and have a wander around, soak up all these lovely fixtures and fittings, and I will come and find you a little bit later on.
Thank you.
Off you go. Well, there you go. Just this morning, they probably thought that either one of our first 2 properties would suit them down to the ground. But yet again, the mystery house has made them think twice.
Coming in a very comfortable £70,000 under budget, this contemporary mystery property has been finished to an exceptionally high standard and would give Drew and Richard 4 bedrooms, a stylish kitchen with all the mod cons, as well as a garden and double garage for a home gym. And it lies down a secluded private road.
It's quite a unique design. There certainly isn't anything else like this. It's got an amazing glass frontage, which just takes advantage of the views.
You've got state-of-the-art appliances everywhere, underfloor heating through the house.
Oh yeah, let's not forget the underfloor heating.
Which is, it's luxury, isn't it? It's a luxury house, but at a very affordable price. And it gives me some extra money to, well, who knows?
To treat me.
Of course.
Well, chaps, I'm afraid that's it. Our house tours are now complete.
Yep. Well, lots to think about, and but we'll discuss it, and then we'll discuss with you.
Absolutely. Right, let's find you a nice place for a cup of tea. Come on.
Right, fantastic.
Dorset's rural landscape is characterised by a patchwork of fields surrounded by high hedgerows. Acting as corridors across the landscape, they connect woodlands and one another, enabling small mammals, birds and insects to travel under a protective canopy, providing vital shelter and food. But they can also tell us a lot about the heritage of our landscape. I've come to the Kinkham Meadows Nature Reserve, 8 miles from the market town of Bridport, to meet Steve Masters from the Dorset Wildlife Trust, to find out a little more about the importance of these monuments of living history.
Well, Steve, many people will drive through the countryside and probably take our hedgerows very much for granted, but they are an integral part of what makes this landscape work, aren't they?
Indeed they are, yeah. I mean, the hedgerows that we've got here at Kinkham across the reserve, some of them have been dated back to medieval times, even longer than back to the 11th century.
The role of hedgerows fascinates me, and being able to date them is even more interesting because it means we can potentially get a handle on how the landscape's management has changed over time. But how do you go about dating them?
There's a hypothesis called Hooper's hypothesis. So you take a section about 30 metres long, and you count the number of woody species that you find in that 30-metre section, times it by 100, and you should be roughly somewhere around the age of the hedgerow. And you do that to get an average all along the hedgerow.
So how accurate is Hooper's hypothesis?
Well, out here at Kinkham, with the use of old maps, we can sort of tell that the hedgerows have been there for the similar amounts of time as that they were dated to. So it's reasonably accurate. A lot of these hedgerows may well have been here just before the time of William the Conqueror. So it really is a step back in time.
Since the Second World War, the UK's ancient hedgerows have dramatically declined, largely to increase field size and make way for development. By the 1990s, 121,000 kilometres of hedgerows across the country had been lost. Steve and the team from the Wildlife Trust have been working hard to maintain Dorset's surviving hedgerows. This winter, they aim to relay a mile across the West Dorset estates, of which Kinkham is the largest.
Well, this is a lovely ancient track.
It certainly is. This has probably been here for hundreds of years, along with the hedges associated with it.
And clearly it's being laid now. Who's been working on this?
This is one of our volunteers. We have a big group of volunteers that come out every week and help us do the hedge laying. And this has taken somebody about a day to do.
That's a day's work. You have got a lot to do, haven't you? But, you know, if you're unfamiliar with the process of literally laying a hedge, as we can see here, I mean, it does look pretty brutal, doesn't it? Many people might be surprised to think that actually the whole thing can stay alive, because there's not much connecting the stem, once it's laid, to the root.
The main living part and the tissue of the tree is round the outside here. So as long as you leave a quarter of that attached, all the nutrients and water can still come up from the root system and enable it to reshoot in the spring.
Right then, come on then. Give me a little lesson in how to do it.
What you want to do is you want to come through a roughly sort of 45 or steeper, if possible, angle. And then after you've done that, we should be able to start hopefully bending it down.
At around 15 years old, these stems are the perfect age and size for laying and can be bent or woven into the hedge.
Cut a bit more.
Yeah, a little bit more?
Yeah.
Oh, you've got to be brave, haven't you?
You certainly have. The hazel's quite good though, because it's very pliable material, so you can bend it and work with it quite well and cut a lot out of it.
So shall I just gently walk it forward?
Indeed, yeah.
Oh, reassuring crack there.
That's it.
And there we are, we're still attached.
The laid stems are known as pleachers, and they'll eventually grow back vigorously with new vertical shoots, improving the structure and strength of the hedge.
So how long do you think it will take for this to regenerate?
In spring, this will probably be a foot, maybe a foot half high.
Now this one looks a bit tiny. Is it worth laying, or would you just cut this off?
I think you could have a go at laying that one. That one looks like it's an ideal size to have a go with a billhook.
Ah, right. So again, we're looking for a nice sort of 60-degree angle, aren't we?
Yep.
Once laid, hedges should be trimmed annually to encourage side shooting, creating a wider, denser hedge with plenty of deadwood in the bottom, providing safe cover and food for up to 3,000 species of wildlife.
Gosh, that is
Excellent.
fragile, but still there.
And for some, like our native dormouse, an essential habitat to nest and hibernate.
it's lovely to think that, you know, we're doing something in these hedgerows that's been done here for centuries. You know, and it's such a simple but rewarding process, because at least we're helping to maintain these hedgerows, which are so important, not just for the maintenance of stock and keeping the animals in, but also for the rest of the wildlife to use as their little highways.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
Right then, carry on, shall we?
Yep.
Well, there's no doubt that we've given Drew and Richard 3 fantastic properties to choose from this week, but I suspect that trying to make a decision as to which one is going to be their favourite could be harder than any of us might have thought. Oh, this is all very cosy, isn't it? Ah, well then, I think a really interesting week. 3 very, very strong properties.
All very different.
Well, I think we've loved all of them.
I mean, the first one I thought was fascinating because it was everything that you thought you didn't want, Drew, but actually you fell in love with it.
I did. I mean, even as we drove into the village, it had a lovely feel. And then you showed us the cottage, which is not really my usual style, but because of its quirkiness, I loved it.
But then we sort of dialed up the modern element, didn't we, with our second property?
You did. What attracted me initially was the views that you could see behind and to the side of the house was absolutely breathtaking.
So, we then took you to our final offering, our mystery house, the very, very distinctive property.
It was different. It was a unique design. I haven't seen that anywhere else, certainly not around Dorset. What I'd really like to do before we take the leap of faith is I'd love to get some advice on what we can do with the house number 1, because that location is superb. And imagine if we could put some of the elements of the mystery house into house number 1, maybe extend the kitchen as you mentioned before, and that really would make it a stunning chocolate box. Because I love the character. The character of those houses is tremendous.
And
the village life.
I agree.
Well, guys, best of luck to you. Let us know how you get on.
I think we will.
Well, where better to finish our visit to Dorset than here, beneath the rather splendid remains of Corfe Castle. Now, when William the Conqueror first set about establishing a fortress here just after the Battle of Hastings, country life wasn't so much an aspiration, it was a way of life for most of Britain's population. Now, of course, these days, times have changed. Many of us are trying to reconnect with our rural roots. Now, clearly, both Richard and Drew have some way to go before they can realise their ambitions of a country life, but I'm pretty certain that once they do move to Dorset, they won't regret it. I'll see you next time. If you would like to escape to the country in Scotland, England, Wales or Northern Ireland and need our help, why not apply online at bbc.co.uk/Be On A Show.